Hello, everybody from all across the land here from the Regan's Corner fan base. Subscribe down below here. It's going to be a little bit different here. Usually, you have Riley Regan right here with me on the screens from good old California, but take prayers for her and her family. She won't not be on this week, but she'll be back next week. But let's kind of talk about the amazing season for this Lady Satellites, Miss Tomlin, and Bomar, Welsh, and I mean, there's just so much to go about how the girls done and this and that. But they unfortunately lost to the 59ers, if you guys have not already known, or this and that. But here at Regan's Corner, we just say congratulations on being one of the greatest teams in South Central history. Girls, keep your heads up. But we're going to go into the meat and potatoes in our broadcast after this commercial break. So,
Hello, sports fans. Indiana Farm Bureau has been helping companies like us here at Regan's Corner Sports Podcast Network since 1934. So, get a free quota from Zach Coulter and from anything from auto, life, home, business, and farming insurance. And back to the scheduled program. Thank
yes, more about Satellites in their season. It doesn't happen all that often. A team goes 26-0 into the regional. They just went up against a better team today in the 59ers. The game super competitive in the first half, but into the fourth quarter, the 59ers kind of just pulled away a little bit. The girls came back a little bit and then kind of pulled away a little bit at the end there. So the score 57-41 here. Let's see. Okay, let's get into some more sports news around the area. Okay. We got to talk about Anthony Rizzo possibly going to the Chicago Cubs. What? Are you kidding me? With Rizzo possibly going back to a place that made him famous in Chicago, where he loves it. That DH spot, if it's being universal, if that gets passed, if baseball comes back this year and it gets passed, that universal thing, you could see a couple former Kobe's from the 2016 team come back. Kyle Schwarber can come back. Possibility of it. And you got Big O Riz on the possibility of coming back here. Maybe you have a Chris Bryant sign with the Cubs. You have Correa and this and that. Maybe Dreamland here. But Marcus Stroman's already been signed by the Cubs before the lockouts. That adds a little bit better arm to the rotation, which needs it here in the Cubs and Chicago land. You know what I'm saying? But Big O Riz here, okay, may come back. How crazy would that be? Subscribe down below. Okay. And what is going on with this? And we will know more after the lockout. But speaking of things that just don't make sense, okay? I mean, you get one guard that just doesn't want to play, and you get one guard that hasn't played this year in a mega trade in the trade deadline. James Harden goes to Philadelphia. And this duo is almost as good as Shaq and Kobe. Possibility, okay? Joel Embiid and James Harden. If this works out, this could be that 2.0 action here. Because Embiid's one of the most dominant big men in the game of basketball versus James Harden. Plus, James Harden, you could shoot anywhere on. That pick and roll will be deadly. Ben Simmons, honestly, both these teams could win the trade. Either way. See how Ben Simmons does. It's just the work ethic for me is in question for Ben Simmons because Lonzo Ball just absolutely balled it out with developing or the shot and stuff like that. And we're still waiting for Simmons to do the same thing, to be honest with you. And it's just not happening right now. But let's see how he does in Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie and see if Kyrie Irving comes back to being a home game player. I mean, because of the vaccine and stuff like that, and regulations starting to open up in a lot of the states. So, kind of, that's he or she, kind of what it usually is with both these guys, okay? Is drama going to follow them? Most likely. But before last year, Ben Simmons was those kind of guy who was hard-nosed, but just didn't develop into what we thought he would be. We thought we'd be LeBron without a shot. So he hasn't lived up to it yet, but we don't know how he's going to do in Brooklyn with KD and with Kyrie. I mean, he's the third guy in that roster. Does he move to point guard? Does he move to point or forward because they have a proven point guard? And then off nights when they're at home in Brooklyn or Toronto, does Ben Simmons slide into that point guard position? That's the most interesting part of this trade. Plus, you got shooters around with Steph Curry going to Brooklyn. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think down below. But we're gonna move into the big game for you, the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow versus Matthew Stafford. Okay, Joe Cool and the staff man. Okay, I know that's not his nickname, but the Rams, they're heavy favorites going into this. 4-point favorites. ESPN has them wait for it, 60.3 chance of winning the Super Bowl. Then they have Cincinnati 33.9% of winning the Super Bowl. But it just, Joe Burrow has that something, that it factor. Joe Burr, okay, Joey franchise. He just has that factor that you just look and you're going like, you can't bet against the dude. So here at Regan's Corner, I'm not betting against them. I'm picking the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. Okay. I know the offensive line isn't the greatest. Okay. I know that. And Aaron Donald and Von Miller should eat. Okay. In the backfield. Just get the running game going with Joe Mixon, man. Get the running game going, get a little dump and dive, duck and weave. And then you got your recipe for the Bengals winning the Super Bowl this year. Honestly, what I like for Matt Stafford to win the Super Bowl Yeah, for all those years in Detroit where he was okay. He was okay. He was like a Tony Romo, where he had great years, but they never did anything in the playoffs or even got to the playoffs in some years. So, and Matthew Stafford with OBJ. OBJ is probably the X factor in this game. I just honestly don't see the Rams getting off if OBJ does not, because Cooper Kupp will be double teamed after winning the award he won. I just, what can you say about Burrow? Okay, 34 touchdowns this year, 4,611 yards. Okay, and Matthew Stafford the same way, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Great quarterback play in this one. Since Sony Michel really became the leading back, the running game has been outstanding for the Rams. Joe Mixon's starting to kind of be what he was before all the allegations the senior year at Oklahoma. The injury bug has not hit him yet. So you have all that factors. You have weapons for days on the Bengals side. Jamar Chase, just one of the best wide receivers in the game right now. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think they should have picked Swole, but when the draft was last year. But they're proving me wrong right now. Okay, they're proving me wrong. They're in the Super Bowl. That connection from LSU days, Joe Burr, it's just been very much a marriage, okay? An absolute bonding of two individuals. You haven't seen this way since Brady and Gronk, back in the heyday with New England, or Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison. You're going to see the next great combination right here, or Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Hill, okay, Tyreek Hill. I mean, you're looking at one of the greatest combos that you're going to see in the NFL for the next decade, okay, if they stay together. There's still Carson Palmer has reports that Joe Burrow might decide to leave Cincinnati. I don't see that happening. The second year, he's going to the Super Bowl after injuring most of. This is basically his rookie year, boys, girls. So I'm gonna give my score right now, 28-27. Last minute field goal, Cincinnati. Okay. Next up. What if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Indianapolis Colts? Oh, what if? That's a good question. What if? Indianapolis is one of the teams that are in the hunt for Mr. Aaron Rodgers again after Carson Wentz choked before getting into playoffs against Jacksonville. We may have a different conversation because the way Carson Wentz was throwing the ball this year was better than an average quarterback. He was a lot better this year than he was in Philadelphia in his last 2 years. So, do we give Carson Wentz another shot? Or if Aaron Rodgers wants to come down to Indy, do we give Aaron Rodgers the keys for the next 2 years, next 2 or 3 years? That's a no-brainer. You give Aaron Rodgers the keys no matter. There's few players in this league, okay? You maybe want that 12 to come down to Indianapolis if he doesn't stay in Green Bay. I think he's going to stay in Green Bay. But if he goes, I could see Indianapolis being one of the best destinations for him, especially when Indianapolis is probably going to release Carson Wentz to get rid of that contract, most of that money off that contract, so they can get Aaron Rodgers, maybe an Adams with Aaron Rodgers, but maybe a Godwin with Aaron Rodgers, maybe Tyreek Hill. No, I'm just joking. I'm from Fantasy Island as a Colts fan. But maybe TY, keep TY. So in fantasy, you actually have a chance with TY this year with Aaron Rodgers. But hey, stay froggy, my friends. And we will be back next Thursday. I just want to do a quick Super Bowl Blockbuster show for you. So stay froggy.